And we're back. Hit the subscribe button as usual, John Alite Show. And I have an interesting one today. So follow me. Questions. I had a conversation, and I've had on my show several times psychologists, psychiatrists, people that wrote books about the psychic, the mind, what brings somebody into violence, and what brings somebody into being a serial killer. So, and what's the difference between a serial killer and a killer? And we're going to talk a little bit about a serial killer. Serial killer is somebody that has to kill, and they're sociopathic. And they kill for power. They kill for emotions. They kill for sexuality. They kill for lust. And they kill when they have a drive for blood. And what causes that, they're not really sure. Besides, they have no empathy towards their victims at all. Zero. They're usually, unlike what people think, they're very personable. They're not like you see in the movies, show a figure or a person, man or female, that is like weird and dresses crazy. And that's not really true. They're usually very normal socially. They mix in. They work. They have a job. They're personable or quiet or personable or not quiet, but they're personable. You wouldn't think anything odd about what they're doing. And one of the biggest things about a serial killer is whether their appetite is to kill every couple of days, every couple of weeks, every month or two, or yearly. They call it a cooling off period, depending on the type of serial killer they are. They may wait a week and then they need to kill again. They may wait a month and they need to, but they certainly, whatever their appetite is as that serial killer, they need to kill on a regular basis, on a constant basis. And they find ways of finding ways to kill their victims, whether it's a Jeffrey Dahmer or it's the Long Island, I believe it was Gigo Beach or something where they were killing different girls and leaving them in the brush in the swamp areas. And they have that, so they have that sick drive of some of them keeping souvenirs. They want to take something of that person's for whatever reason, whether it's jewelry, whether it's a body part, whether it's hair, clothing, and they keep it as like an award, a mantle, a trophy. Now, the difference of killer, whether you're a gang member, or you're a mob guy, or you're somebody that robbed somebody, the person that's doing that type of killing is doing it for either paid for hire, so it's financial, it's nothing personal. They don't get any lust out of killing somebody like that. They do it out of a necessity of their job, as crazy that sounds. So if you're a gangster and it's another family member and he's in the way with money that you're making, yeah, your boss sends you out, you kill him. And you go to sleep at night, you're not thinking about, wow, and, I killed this guy because I needed that, killing like a vampire. You're just killing because you were ordered to kill or because he was in a way of a financial deal that was hurting the influence of you making money. The person that goes out and robs a store owner, and you see this happen a lot, go in, they rob money, and out of fear, a lot of times these guys are killing the people there thinking they're going to be witnesses, which elevates, obviously, the robbery to a much more serious extent, or stupidity, or uneducated, or some sort of lack of empathy also. Because to randomly just pick somebody and rob them for a couple bucks, there's got to be something mentally wrong to go rob. And you hear these stories. There was a local story in my area where a guy and his girlfriend went to Atlantic City, and on the way out, 3 or 4 guys grabbed him and took him in the car, which they should never do. Shouldn't have got in the car with them no matter what. Let them kill you in the parking lot then. They're going to kill you if they're taking you usually. Raped the girl, shot her in the head. She lived. And shot the guy, killed him. They took him to the bank. And you can't get much money out of an ATM machine. So for a couple $100, these 3 or 4 low-life imbeciles took the lives of one guy, and his wife was severely beaten, shot in the head, and she survived and raped. And so for the rest of her life, she's damaged. I don't see much a difference between them and a serial killer, honestly. But as I was talking to psychiatrists, they given me the differences. Anybody in public, I don't think will think too much of a difference. So you have that look of those type of people that will kill. And when you go into, like my last show, when I was talking about, the prison system, those kind of people I don't think should get out of paroled, because they'll never change. If they did something as heinous as that to an innocent couple and no feeling to rape them like animals, and I don't think that person's going to change. I don't think they have it in them to change you. You wouldn't be able to do that. And the serial killer is the same. They can't control themselves. Now, if you take, let's take a street gang, any street gang, and they kill somebody who's their rival, whether it's for territory or whether it's because there was a problem with another gang member. You understand the mindset of that gang member, why he's doing it. And 2 years from now, 3 years from now, he may not regret it, but I think as they age, you're going to regret it. And I don't believe they have that same cold-hearted, well, not that I don't believe, it doesn't matter what I believe, it's psychiatrists evaluating them, is not for just to kill for the lust of killing. It was for some sort of purpose. And in my opinion, again, I believe those people can change if they want a different life. As a young guy, sometimes you don't evaluate what you're doing. And you take these steps, and later on you say, why did I do that? As an initiation or for money or for business. But it wasn't just randomly walking down the block, grabbing a girl and a guy and pulling them in the alley and doing what those other guys did. So there's a big difference in that. So when you talk about, murders and, the cooling off period, street guys, gangsters, mobsters, they don't have that. They don't have that desire that they have to kill again with a cooling off period like a serial killer does. So, people love true crime. People ask, well, why are people so into this true crime? And it's something that triggers, the psychiatrist said, it's something that triggers their fear factor when they're watching it and they're trying to imagine themselves in those positions. And it just piques their interest because it's something they don't know. But I think that's in anything, actually. I think if you know somebody that dives off a cliff into the water, you're amazed that this guy's diving hundreds of feet up in the air into rocky water, and he has the ability to do that without fear. But then you imagine yourself. So I think if they showed that on TV where people died from that, I think people would watch it also. People are so interested in what they don't know. And when it comes to adrenaline and what they don't know, or you watch The Godfather or one of these kind of movies, The Departed, any of them, it gives that individual sitting there that adrenaline rush. And to that fact, I think part of the problem is psychologically. I think there's a detachment now in the younger generation because of all these games, they're violent games. I don't think they understand it's not a game. Because they're watching these games and there's so much violence in it. I think they just kind of get computerized almost, where they're not understanding the consequences of these actions. There's a coldness, I think, in as these kids are getting older. That's my opinion. But when you look at some of these crimes and you look at the individuals in prisons, and I've met guys. I met a guy that was a serial killer in jail and very normal, right? You wouldn't believe the guy when you met him. He killed, I think, 16 people or something. And I met another actually in Brazil. He was a nurse and he killed 50 or 100 people because he was injecting them and killing them. And he used to bring our food, believe it or not. And he used to bring us alcohol, believe it or not. And you're thinking afterwards when they told me who this guy is, like, well, what are you guys nuts? You're taking food and alcohol from this guy? He could put anything in there. If he gets his hands on it, obviously he's insane. I mean, literally insane to do what he's done. So the dissecting of the human mind's incredible. And when you get into these subjects, I think everybody's interested in them because of a lot of reasons. The unknown, the fear factor. You're looking at these people, they look so normal. Like the guy would carry a conversation. I used to sit and, look at him and say, I can't believe this guy killed all these people. He carries himself normal, polite, laughed, joked. He just had to have some sort of detachment in the back of his mind. It must have all been a show, even with us, fake. Anyway, write in about some of the stuff. Write in about some of the serial killers over the years. There was the one with I forget his name, the guy that dressed up as a clown. But ask some questions, write in, and I'll ask the psychiatrist I talked about this. To me, this is an incredible subject. Thanks. Subscribe, write in, click the buttons, and see you next week.